talent on the set. Hi, I'm Jenna Jyons. This is Popeye, my pup, and you are home with me in Soho, New York. I have lived in this apartment for, I think, 7 years. I renovated for 2. I live here with Popeye, who's the most important person in my life, other than my son, Beckett, who also lives here. No one gets to go in this room but him, especially now that he's a teenager. And yeah, no one has gone in my office, only because it's kind of a mess. When I bought this apartment, there was literally nothing here. It was an artist's loft, and it was truly empty. Everything had to be changed. The floor, the ceiling, I raised the elevator. The apartment sloped all the way down to the window, so we had to raise the entire floor. Everything was stripped down. I worked with an interior architect named Gray Davis, who is probably one of the most incredible people I've ever met, just on a personal level, and also incredibly talented. And in terms of like furniture and the fabrics and the colors, that was my world, but they were incredible collaborators. That team at Meyer Davis was amazing. I'm here to tell you about a few of my favorite things. One of them we're going to start with is this lamp. It's called the Lottie lamp. I designed it for Roland Hill, and I have a really weird affinity for Cockney rhyming slang. And Lottie is actually short for la-di-da, which is how you say, no, that's wrong. We're going to come back to this, I don't remember. I worked in fashion for 27 years. Fashion and home to me are so intrinsically the same in many ways. I mean, I think it's about mixing textures and finding things that work well together. And that's what interior design is about. It's about shifting the context of something. You can have an entirely neutral room, but you still need a balance of materials. You still need soft and shine, and you still need warm and fuzzy. You still need textured and flat. I'm gonna share with you some of my other favorite things over here. One of them is this chair. There is a place in LA called Pop-Up Home, and the woman does estate sales. Can you see my feet? Because I do not have a pedicure. Whatever is comfortable or happening, I want the opposite. I was working in this bathroom 9 years ago now, and at the time, Carrara marble and sort of that really soft palette, that's what was happening in the world. So I wanted something that looked like head cheese. I was like, find me like the ugliest, weirdest marble you've got. This is the first digital printing thing my son made, which I think is kind of amazing. He made the digital printer make a digital print of itself, which is really meta. He was 11 years old. Oh, no way, look at that. Just found a ring. This is a ring I designed for Missouri. I don't know why it's back there. Next stop, the bedroom. Not everyone gets to come in here. My favorite room in the apartment is probably the bedroom. I really like naps and sleeping. I spend a lot of time in there. It's also nice because the bathroom is attached to the bedroom, so it's really a nice respite, and you really don't feel like you're in New York because it's quite quiet back there. And so this bathtub, I can like literally fully submerge. I don't know, I think that's pretty cool. Let's see, I don't have any blinds, as you may have noticed, but no one can see. All of my faucets are unlacquered brass. Surprise, surprise. I think that I have started the brass appreciation community. It's funny, I remember really distinctly the very first time I went to Paris and I saw all of these beautiful unlacquered brass faucets. I'd never seen, I grew up in California, everything was chrome. I'd never seen anything like it, and I remember being so in love with them. I just remember how hard it was to find. It was not available in the United States, and so I think since then I have had a deep appreciation and talk about it endlessly. Unlacquered brass rods were custom made. These are made out of unlacquered brass, only unlacquered. I do not like lacquered brass, no thank you. I have bead lights and plugs all running underneath the shelf here, which is great. Every apartment I ever had, I had a ton of stuff on countertops, so when I moved here, I was like, I want the biggest medicine cabinets ever known to man, and I think I succeeded. I wanted a television in the living room, but I didn't want to see it, so I was like, that's important to me. It's behind the mantelpiece, it slides out when I lift. They also had all of the cabinets made in solid walnut, so when you open them, you're not looking at MDF. Sexy. I have a lot of stuff. I also have an inside makeup mirror because I can't see, especially when I want to put on my lashes. I don't think the inspiration to start Love Scene came from being in one particular place. I think it came more from experiences. It did start here, like literally at my kitchen counter. Like I had no place to go. I did not have an office at that point. I had no place to go, so we were literally creating eyelashes at my kitchen counter. What was most fascinating to me was this dovetail effect on marble. I've seen it on wood, but never on marble. I had them ship just the marble top, and then I had the end of it cut and matched to this very same piece of wood, size-wise and girth. This is my son, who is the cutest person on the planet. This is some of my home memorabilia and all of my favorite things. This is from a ceramicist in England who, I don't know, I'm just fascinated by this, and I love that it's a lion, because I too am a lion. When I left J. Crew, like I had a huge wall in my office filled with all of my drawings from my son, people coming into my office, some random swatch I loved, an image that inspired me. This actually happened. I got to go to the White House with the Obamas, and I got to meet Oprah. I know, I was on Oprah. I was one of the Time 100. I've had open closets forever. I'm not a big fan of like having to surf or on display. My friend aptly calls it the showroom. It's like, I know it's insane, but you know, it's what I did forever. It's like my job. Meyer Davis helped build and construct and design these shelves. The intricacy of the way that those shelves are constructed and the way that they're actually inserted in the sides, the brass panel goes into the wood, is stunning and beautiful, and that was completely gray. It's so stunning. I'm obsessed. I think he did an incredible job. And then I also wanted to have like a place for all of my jewelry that could slide out. I wanted a place for my sunglasses. And then shoes, like same thing. I just wanted to be able to see everything. There's a lot in here. It's gonna take me a while. You'll be here all day. Okay, I'm just gonna slide over elegantly this way. This is kind of one of those things where need a little slip up with the measurements, because we measured in inches and they measure in centimeters. And originally when the table arrived, it was like down here. Whereas in my career, I have been so controlled, I have been so steady. And in my own house, I can literally take a ton of risk. The lamps are intentionally mismatched. This one's Guzzini, I think this one's Still Novo. This is one of my favorite pieces. This is a Helen Frankenthaler. I have been a fan of Cy Twombly since the very first time I saw his work. Never in a million years did I think I would be able to own a piece. I have that weird kind of like insane curiosity, but also wanting to like, I don't know, wanting to mess things up and wanting it to be almost scary. Like I like being in that space of feeling almost afraid of what I'm doing. And sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't, but most of it worked. I meant to do that. One of the things I loved about fashion, because it was constantly changing, and while I love doing interiors, what's nice about them is they don't change. What's hard about them is they don't change. You know, once you make that decision and you purchase something, you're kind of in it, and then you look at something, you're like, okay, well maybe I don't want to have a pink couch anymore, but I'm like, well, now I'm gonna have to spend X amount of dollars, or it's just like a whole thing, and then everything is, set around the pink couch. Now what do I do? So yeah, I would change everything tomorrow if I could. I know, Boo-Boo. He's just so photogenic. Yes. No, I know. I mean, I'm going to tell them to leave. Like, they're still here. They've been here for hours, honestly. No, I know. I don't know when they're going to leave, but they're literally crawling all over my apartment. And this is how I send people away. This is the elevator. Bye-bye.